question is to the children as well. Is any child keen on answering what is calligraphy? Before I ask our honorable guest, I would like to ask the children, what is calligraphy according to you? You're here. Some participants are raising their hand. Yes, Khush Jain, tell us. Anantdeep, Nitin, Badhuria, please tell us. So many participants are raising.
Ma'am, calligraphy is a beautiful writing in word.
Ma'am, ma'am, calligraphy is a visual art related to writing. It shows us letter design and execution of lettering with pen.
Great.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, calligraphy is a way of expressing our feelings through words.
Beautiful. And what is pictorial calligraphy?
Pictorial calligraphy will express the feelings which we are feeling. Like if we keep the line in that way, that time we will feel something else.
Very nice.
All right.
May I also?
Yes, please. As many as you
Ma'am,
want.
calligraphy is the art of writing words in a stylish manner or decorative manner so that it looks attractive.
Very good.
Ma'am, can I also?
Please.
Ma'am, calligraphy is a beautiful design art that is very beautiful. That's why we learn and write it.
All of you love your handwriting as well. Are there other children who are raising hands who want to say something? Please say.
Can I please, ma'am? The art of writing. Writing is.
Ma'am, the calligraphy is an art with a specific pen or brush.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
Ma'am, calligraphy is a visual art related to writing. Ma'am, this
Wonderful.
class will be regular on every Sunday.
Yes, yes. Every Sunday we have a different guest.
Okay, ma'am.
And we request you to join. Next week we have theatre. Yes, yes.
Brilliant.
Okay, ma'am. Can I?
Yes.
Calligraphy is a different way of writing.
Yes. Now we
Ma'am,
take
can I
questions.
tell?
Yes.
Ma'am, it is a design and executing of lettering with a pen and ink press.
Yes, yes. Wonderful. Let me ask our guest to tell you now more
Ma'am,
about
may I?
calligraphy. Yes.
The calligraphy is
And calligraphy is a decorative way of writing.
Yes, Yash.
Ma'am, calligraphy is something I don't like.
Anvi.
Hello.
Anjali. Yes.
Can I?
Yes.
Ma'am, can I tell?
Yes.
Calligraphy is a composition which we write in beautiful handwriting and cursive. Can I, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, can I?
Now I think I will ask our guests to speak. Please mute yourselves. We'll show you a nice video also. Please wait.
Calligraphy is the art of writing beautiful with a special pen or
All right,
brush.
all right. Now I don't want anyone else to interrupt. Let me ask the guest, please. Let's honor her. Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us what calligraphy is for the benefit of all the children?
Yeah, well, thank you for all these responses from your side. And it's very interesting to hear everything that you have to say. Of course, it's part of, it's visual art. Actually, it's a very important visual art, and it's the art of refinement. Any art that you do is, leading you to that refinement that happens inside yourself before you see that outside on a paper or whatever else that an artist may be doing. So this is a very important process, and something like you said that it's the art of beautiful writing. Yes, that's part of it. And but what we are here to do is or kind of share my thoughts. Actually, it's a very short time. Is actually pictorial form of the language that we know, we speak from our childhood. We know, write, read, and whatever. And but we never pay attention. So it is we know it through a reference, like A is for apple or Ka is for kabutar types. But actually this is a way to know yourself better, how you are how are you seeing things, and how is your what is your relationship with your own language and culture and the script that you use every day. So this is what it's more kind of, to become aware, more mindful in a way. And this is something that will help you in anything that you do in life. because if the process that is there to learn it, if you capture that, that will help you to that will be good for you in any field that you may choose to take up in life. Okay, so this is one. So art of beautiful writing. So when you say art of beautiful writing, and when you are mindful, that means it's the art of stroking. Okay, musicians have notes, dancers have the mudras, poets have words, and we have strokes to do the same, right? So the stroking meaning, how well did you start the stroke? How good was that? And how did you end? So whole process, that is that you should be aware that if you make a mistake, you can see that mistake. So this change that happens is a transition that is required, when you mature, when whatever classes you may be in right now. But as you grow and become more aware of what is around you, you should be able to discern the difference when you started to do something and when you are what stage are you right now. Okay, so this is the process.
Absolutely, ma'am.
This is something very important to learn in life. I mean, it's like any art that you do is a life-changing event, that helps you to see things in a different perspective. Okay, so, and I combine Hindi and Urdu scripts. It is a reflection of the culture I was brought up in. And it is exciting for me that Hindi is written from left to right and Urdu is written from right to left. So it's a natural coming together of two streams for me. And on the other hand, letters, as you know, the alphabet, any alphabet you pick, Hindi, Urdu, the Latin, any one that you pick up, actually they are characters, as they're called, characters in Chinese, and they are like they are living entities like you and me. So they are my childhood friends, as they are to you, because we know them from class nursery and we have an interaction with them, and so we can use the way we like. So what is exciting for me is to be able to give it another dimension according to how it sits in my scheme of things, as I'm interpreting something. Okay, so this is a kind of an outline of what I want to say to you and share. Okay.
Absolutely, ma'am. And before we take another question from you, it's very important for the children to understand that Hindi is written from left to right and Urdu is written from right to left. And we'll share a video now. I'll request Prasad to share a video with the children. Let's watch Qamar ma'am's beautiful calligraphy.
What can inspire me suddenly? Sometimes the sound of the word, sometimes the letters used in a particular word, or sometimes even just one letter. I'm combining two scripts. As far as pictorial form is concerned, it's my representation, my perception of things as I understand them, and I want to share. I want people to smile and be happy, joyful when they see my work, and there should be a sense of belonging.
From religious texts, royal correspondence, and artifacts to things of daily use, there is evidence of calligraphy throughout history. Its development has not just enhanced the processing of information, but it has also become a cradle for art and human ingenuity to write and express beautifully.
उस एक लिहाज से देखा जाए तो जो स्क्रिप्ट है वो और जो इवन हरूफ हैं, जो लेटर्स हैं, वो भी असल में एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है. हमने उनको नाम दिए हुए हैं, हमने उनको स्क्रिप्ट भी बनाया है, जो भी किया है. अगर हमें नहीं मालूम होता या किसी को नहीं मालूम है फॉर इंस्टेंस के क्या है, तो उसको तो यही लगेगा कि ये बहुत खूबसूरत कुछ चीज़ है, मतलब अच्छे फॉर्म्स हैं, ये एब्स्ट्रैक्ट ग्राफिक फॉर्म्स हैं. लैंग्वेज भी एक तरह से देखा जाए तो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट ही है, तो इनका आपस में कितना मेल जोल हुआ, कैसे हुआ, क्या, तो ये पूरी बड़ी खूबसूरत, बड़ी फैसिनेटिंग एस्पेक्ट है।
Qamar Dagar is India's leading pictorial calligraphy artist and a firm believer in spontaneity. Surrounded by a family of distinguished Indian classical musicians, her kinship with her art is truly and deeply personal.
ये मेरे दोस्त हैं, सारे अक्षर जो हैं, इनको मैं पढ़ना शुरू किया, लिखना शुरू किया, मुझे तब से मैं इनको जानती हूँ। इनसे ज़्यादा मैं, बल्कि मेरे बहुत करीबी दोस्त हैं, उनसे भी ज़्यादा मेरी इनसे पुरानी दोस्ती है। मुझे बहुत मज़ा आता है इनके साथ अलग अलग कॉन्वर्सेशन करने में, इनके जानने में कि ये क्या करना चाहते हैं, तो लेट्स डू इट टुगेदर उस लिहाज से तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है ये सब।
She mixes letters from two different scripts that are used in the Urdu and Hindi languages and then creates calligraphic imagery around them. Like this Urdu word, anjam or outcome, that's been depicted as a flower.
Like anjam has a adhana, or it can be a dot, ja, and then I have the jim, alif, I have the noon, and then you have the ma. So this is my art material. So like I have the paper, pen, ink, I have this as well. So I have quite a lot, right? And then it's like good fun to play around and see what can fit where and how.
With acrylic ink on her wooden columns or pens and brushes, she has created works that have been exhibited the world over. Once in her zone, her conversation with words and their pictorial illustrations through calligraphy is an ongoing process that is contemporary yet traditional.
My father, he said like you need to broaden your horizon. You have to go beyond what is apparent to you, what you can see around you, and you should be appreciative, you should be respectful. It better be different from what we have seen before. What I may have done differently is bringing together two scripts and then that too in a pictorial form. That is definitely different.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful.
Handwriting.
I hope everybody can chat. You liked the video, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope St. Xavier's children can hear, because I've been
Yes,
given
ma'am.
the impression that your chat is not able. You're not able to chat, St. Xavier's. I hope you could hear, because we're going to play one more video in some time. Qamar ma'am, I want to ask you,
Yes, ma'am.
is it just done in a few scripts, calligraphy? What are the kind of scripts we use it before we play the next video, ma'am?
Actually, there are a lot of cliches around calligraphy that it can only happen in certain scripts. Not true at all. Every script under the sun, whatever that is, we can use that as our art material to express it's an expression, right? Art is an expression. And it's it's a reflection of what an artist sees around him. And so like when you speak or write, right, or read something.
Ma'am.
Just a minute, please. So it is the same as
Yes.
when we are trying to do that in a different way, using the calligraphy art. And so this is not correct if people think that it cannot happen. We have so many scripts and languages in India, and it's amazing. I mean, they're so beautiful. So even what is important is to appreciate, even if you do not understand anything, but what is important is to respect and understand that this is something someone's poured out their heart in writing something so well. They have dedicated their lives to doing it, and so many years have gone into it. And so that is why it comes with so much ease, right? If you practice, when you start something and when you reach a certain level, you can see the transition. That is refinement, and that happens. So that is why it is important to understand that every script under the sun can be used as art material for calligraphy. Okay. And
Absolutely, ma'am. Tell us about your experiences. You've been to so many countries abroad. How do they look at pictorial calligraphy, and do they understand what you're trying to say? And what is the difference between calligraphy abroad and in India?
see, when I answer this question, I have to talk of abstraction. I have to talk of abstract, the abstract. So now, what is abstract? It's just something that, in a way, has no. I mean, like the script, like take up Hindi script, Devanagari, for instance. So how it started and what it looks now today, and there is, we have given them names. We started calling them Ka, Kha, Ga, A, B, C, whatever. And they didn't. I mean, suppose the Ka, we probably would have called it Ja, for instance, right? We gave them names, and so it is abstract. The language itself that we speak is abstract. Everything is an abstraction. So it is almost it's an advantage in the sense that, when you know the language, of course sometimes language can be a barrier, because it's emotion that is being expressed. Okay, so when it is an abstraction, so whether suppose I take my work to say Japan, for instance, they don't know my culture, they know nothing. But because there's an emotion attached to how I have written, whatever I have written, they will react to that. So in that sense, art is, our arts transcend boundaries of all kinds. So this is something very important to understand and know, I will say. Yeah.
Absolutely, ma'am. And how do you explain strokes to children?
Well, I will say that, like I just said earlier, that it is, this is our way to express ourselves. And so the stroke can be powerful, it can be light, it depends on how you have taken it. And you can play around with the shapes, because there's a lot of geometry attached to any script you pick up, right? There is horizontal, there is a vertical, there is a circle, semicircle, there's slanted strokes, everything. So everything that we have learned in geometry, yeah. So, and then imagine that has been converted into a script, and it's absolutely fascinating and beautiful. So when you start to write, and for me, one stroke is like, maybe it's just too early for you to be hearing this, but it is important so that it remains in your mind somewhere, that someone had said something of this kind, that it is like one lifetime. Like we were born one day, so it was our birthday, and one day we will not be there anymore. So it's like that, when you start a stroke, there's more ink. So it's opaque and transparent that you see in the same stroke, which is most fascinating, because some people want to fill up even when it starts to get light. That's not the idea. A good stroke will have both, the opaque and the transparent, how well it started and how well it ended, like life itself. So it's lifelike. So this is something to understand. So I would just say, if you get interested in calligraphy, please do not fill up, those strokes that are ending with less ink. Okay, that's what I would say.
So Nandini is asking a question. Calligraphy is, I've lost that question. It was showing just now. Nandini, would you like to ask your question? Calligraphy is used to make paintings. Is that correct, ma'am?
Absolutely. So the pictorial form is actually, when you see it, because it's an important visual art, I keep stressing on this. So from far, when you see a work, you may think of it as like a painting. And on closer look, that actually words or strokes, or how do you say, letters have been used to express. So suppose someone is interpreting. So it's as opposed to translating. Interpreting is little more kind of sophisticated, little more evolved. So when you do that, so it's like your own reflection comes in a particular word. For instance, if I am writing anjam means the culmination. So for me, it is like full bloom of a flower. So when it is in full bloom, that is the culmination for me, because it is visual art, and I want people to have a smile on their face. I want people to feel joyful when they look at my work. it is important that I choose to select words that will do that for me. Okay, and then how I see how my philosophy leads me to doing what I do. Okay, so this is very important. So anjam has a na, like it was shown in the video, a na jam. So and then alif, jim, noon, meme. So these are the letters that are my art material. Now how I choose to use them in this particular word or this artwork I did, saw me using in a certain way. But suppose I use another word, uh, buzurg, for instance. Okay, so buzurg is like a banyan tree for me. So buzurg and banyan tree have no difference because they share so many qualities and elements. It's just the same for me. So from far you see like a banyan tree, but on closer look you know that letters that belong to this particular word have been used in a certain manner that is giving you the impression, and it's in like an ongoing process. It's never ending. So even if I do one buzurg now or anything else that I write today, and tomorrow or after a week I want to do it again, it will be different, and hopefully it will be better than what I did before. This is
Absolutely, ma'am.
yeah.
There are a few questions that are popping up. Let me take them quickly. Most of them want to ask, like you said, beta, ma'am said buzurg. Buzurg means old. So you can use a banyan tree to show that somebody is old. And also, ma'am, can you give a few more examples of how they could use it and relate it to their own handwriting in Hindi? If they have to show
Yeah.
calligraphy in Hindi,
Yes.
how is it done? I think they'll understand that better.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, my question is that, ma'am, calligraphy is which type of art?
It's a visual art, Babu. It's a visual art where we are trying to say, because art is what they're always trying to share emotions, expressions.
Ma'am, we can do in paper or another things.
Mostly it's done on like a paper, but of course traditionally it was, if you go back in time, we don't have time for that, like historically it was also done on leaves, and so there are many different how do you say ways of using calligraphy. But pretty much, if I talk of my own self, I work mostly on paper, and because we want to do good strokes, so the beginning and the end, there has to be a smooth transition. We pray for that in our lives as well, right? So that's what we are trying to do.
So they want to know, ma'am, some more examples and what kind of paper and what kind of ink. That's
So
what I've been getting.
What is more example we do in Hindi calligraphy?
For instance, okay, for instance, Surya, okay, Surya, if you want to write Surya is the sun, right? Now, so there, how will you write the sa? Now you have the possibility to have a mirror image. You can put it upside down. You can just play around with the shapes and how you want to write it. Now Surya, pretty much I will try and show it to you a little bit.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, from where you have learned calligraphy?
My spiritual guide was Sufi himself, and he did traditional calligraphy. But so I started there, but actually what I do today, it was more of an inspiration more than anything else. I think something that came with the atmosphere I was brought up in, and everything that I saw around, and I wanted to understand it through this medium. This is what I will say. So there's no
Ma'am, can we?
Yeah.
Ma'am, can
we what?
Ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, hello.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of calligraphy?
Calligraphy is the art of beautiful writing. Okay.
Ma'am, can you give us more examples in Hindi, and then we'll take one more video.
Okay. For instance, you want to.
Ma'am, how many types you get? Ma'am, how many types of
what?
How many types of calligraphy?
Well, it's unlimited, really. I mean, imagine that.
how much time you get to learn calligraphy?
And who invented calligraphy?
But no, one at a time, please. And actually, it's a lifelong process. It is something that.
And how many types of calligraphy?
Who
All right.
invented
Oh,
the
not
calligraphy?
everybody will speak now. We'll show you one more video after ma'am answers this question. How many types of calligraphy are there, ma'am?
It's difficult to say the number of scripts that exist, so was and more. So it is it's vast. It's a very big field.
Calligraphy is the writing.
Ma'am, when we will start
Calligraphy
writing
is the art of writing beautifully with special brush and pen. That is
I think
calligraphy.
one after another. You should speak. He had a question.
Which thing interests you in calligraphy?
Invented calligraphy?
Right from my childhood, I was interested in visual arts. I wanted to paint and I wanted to design. So somehow this was an outlet that came to my, rescue in a way, or whatever you may say. And I started to, actually, it was my father, he presented us, my brothers and sisters and myself, with a book by one renowned Arabic calligrapher from Iraq, but he's based in Paris. His name is Hassan Masoudi. So when I first looked at his work, it was very I was still in school, and it was very, it was absolutely amazing. The number of, just the way the script looked, it was just absolutely amazing, and it did not look like script to me. So it was like, I'm entering some new world where I'm seeing things that I've never seen before. And then I realized it's actually the Arabic script that was used to create those works. So that has left an impression on me for sure. And my spiritual guide, then there were other influences that it's not the time to talk of everyone, because there are many questions and many things to talk of. But of course, what developed later on is something that I just do on my own. And I'm trying to understand this, process through my own experience. This is all I will say.
Ma'am, can we have one more video now? All children must watch another video. I'll ask Prasad to play it.
Okay, sure.
We're already running out of time, children.
Yes.
Yeah. Please watch this. This will clear a lot of doubts.
Fascination for the beautiful form of the letters led Qamar to... Calligraphy has always been thought of as beautiful writing. Qamar Dagar's work, however, breaks away from that. Her fascination for the beautiful form of the letters led Qamar to take up pictorial calligraphy, in which she uses Hindi and Urdu letters to create works of art.
What was contemporary yesterday is traditional today. So what is contemporary now will be traditional tomorrow. I do pictorial calligraphy. I combine Urdu and Hindi scripts. I am fascinated by the fact that they are written from opposite directions, left to right, right to left, and they can come together as one while keeping their identity intact. On one side, I'm looking at alphabet as, like living entity, and on the other, it's like a beautiful abstract form. This is the way the script is written, for instance, but I'm not interested in that. But I want to go beyond that, and I want to augment a line, I want to design it, I want to do a spiral, and I guess it started with my curious mind, trying out different things. Why should it be everything the same? It should be something different, and it should be a reflection of who I am as a person and what I want to share with the world. Hazrat Amir Abdullah Khan was my spiritual guide. And he was a master calligrapher, very unconventional. Though he did, very sort of traditional calligraphy, like the Tughra, which is a collection of Quranic verses. But, his way of telling us what to do, it was just, a lot of it was also how to observe, how to internalize things. When you want to learn something of this kind, There has to be some kind of madness so that like you feel so strong. जुनून जिसे कहेंगे, तो ये मेरे ख्याल में एक ज़रूरी एस्पेक्ट है किसी आर्ट का. When you're using the qalam, you actually see that you have to dip it in the ink and then you start to make the stroke. So it's like we were born one day with more ink. So it was like you see the opaque and the transparent in the same stroke. While working, I started to really look at it like this is really like one lifetime, one good calligraphy stroke. I do not know also a lot of the times what will inspire me at what time. But definitely some shapes are more interesting than the others. Calligraphy, as you know, like there are many different, cliches around it. One being that it's only possible in some scripts, like Chinese, Japanese or Arabic, Persian, but it's not true at all because every script under the sun, we can do creative calligraphy because it's the art of refinement.
That was beautiful. Such a lovely representation. बहुत बहुत खूबसूरत और आपका जुनून यहाँ दिखाई देता है मैम कि आप कितनी तबीयत के साथ इसे कितने मन से आप जहन में लाती हैं और फिर उसको आप कैलीग्राफी के रूप में करती हैं. I want to now ask you in the end, how long does this art take to learn? और अगर कोई बच्चा इसे सीखना चाहे कहीं से, तो what are the available schools for teaching calligraphy? क्योंकि बहरहाल तो हमारे स्कूलों में ये नहीं सिखाया जाता.
जी. So unfortunately, there are very few places that you can learn it from. Unfortunately, I really feel sad because I keep repeating that we have so many scripts in our country, so beautiful. One or two things that I want to share, and I want to tell you that please be respectful of this, even if you don't that's not your language or your script, but you should respect and try and look at it from close so that you know how well it has been written. You need not understand anything. So there are things that an impression that remains with you that you may go back to when you're like much older. So this is important to respect. And calligraphy or anything that you do, whether you become a doctor, an engineer, an artist, anything, you have to dedicate many years to doing it. How well are you able to do that? How many years are you giving it to? Or how many hours in a day, for instance, are you giving? So these are very important points, and that holds true for anything that you do. So it's difficult for me to say how many years it will take, because it depends on how enthusiastic you are to learn this art, and how where do you want to take it. So from that point of view, I would say at least if you are able to dedicate kind of like 2 hours a day, or even if you don't take classes, they only take it 3 times a week or something. So it's difficult to really say, and everyone is differently abled, different talent and different level of enthusiasm. So all these things matter. So I mean, whether you want to very strongly become a doctor, for instance, and so you will dedicate your time to reading about it and getting to know more things. So it holds true for calligraphy or music, anything that you want to do.
Ma'am, Devesh has a question. We'll take his question.
Yes.
Before we end.
Ma'am, it is compulsory to write with a paintbrush, by paintbrush also, or can we write with a pencil or pen also?
That's a very good question. This is something I learned from my guru, my spiritual guru, that the moment you want to do something doesn't remain with you forever. It goes away. So it's very, very precious. हर क्षण बहुत ही important है. वो जब चला गया तो चला गया. It's dynamic and it never returns. So इस वजह से when you want to work, so it doesn't matter even if you have a pencil, a paper, basic, very nothing, absolutely, you don't have those. Please work. You whatever there is, you still work. because that inspiration will not come again. So
Ma'am?
this is very important.
Yes, beta. Yes.
Ma'am, from which tools we should write the calligraphy?
You start with basic, because first is the ease with which you can start to write. So start with just even pencils, because that you're accustomed to using pencils. You start with that to start to write the script as much as you can. That just first replicate what you see. It's important to see and observe and write, and then you see the difference, when you first write to the 10th time to the 20th time. And when you can see the transition, that is refinement. That is changing.
Ma'am, when we will start writing calligraphy in our Sunday to Sunday online class?
This is not going to be calligraphy every time. Next time you have theater. So we'll keep bringing, we'll bring ma'am on your request again, and then she can teach you how to write. Today was just an introduction of calligraphy.
Yes.
Right, children? Next time she'll teach you how to do it whenever she comes again, whenever we invite her again. We have a whole plethora of guests. We're going to get you Commonwealth Games winners, gold winners, everybody. So you must join us every Sunday. Anybody else has a question on calligraphy? This is just an introduction class today. You didn't read the message properly.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, how can we make calligraphy picture nicely?
When you're involved in it, when you go on practicing and you're spending time, so it happens automatically. It will happen. You just see. And then know that, okay, let me write the A in a different way. Let me write the Ka in a certain manner. Let me augment the line. Let me bring a spiral to it. Make it thick, make it thin. And so all of that, when you will do, this is, the involvement will lead you to, creating something which is different. And it is your own. It's your own. It's not Google, how do you say, inspired. Something that is you, whether it's good, bad, no, but this is important, that it is your own reflection and not a borrowed one.
So there are two more interesting questions. Where did calligraphy originate, and is there a specific color? जैसे आपने बताया सूर्य, तो वो सूर्य को बार-बार पूछ रहे हैं किस तरह, पर मैंने इन्हें समझा दिया कि आज इंट्रोडक्शन क्लास है.
जी, so देखिए जैसे सूर्य है ना, सूर्य तो we pretty much think of it as golden yellow, that kind of a color. So you can start by that, and then depends, whether you want to show the Surya Uday, so just when it's not strong enough, so you can show lighter colors also within the yellow and the gold to show that it is just coming up. So these are various things, that will when most fascinating, and something that will be your own reflection. I keep repeating this, very important, something that you have not copied from Google or anywhere else. It has to be your own.
So you can also become very proficient calligraphers one day, and we will get ma'am again. Meanwhile, ma'am, when did this originate? If we can answer that, I can then end the conversation for today. We're already running out of time. Yes, children.
Important. It's difficult to say when it really originated, because there's so many scripts and they developed in different cultures, different
many hundreds of years back.
Many hundreds of years back. Yeah. So when
in calligraphy, we have to be careful or not?
Majorly careful. And then after many years, you don't have to be careful. When you are like free to do what you want. But initially, majorly. Okay? Yeah.
Excuse me. Ma'am, in calligraphy, when we do calligraphy, so which type of nature we have? Be silent or very...
Well, this is a very interesting question, and nobody asked me this before. Actually, this is your work will reflect what kind of a person you are.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you
ma'am.
for asking this. Very nice. Yeah.
Difference between calligraphy and sketching.
Calligraphy, of course, is different from that point of view, that a script is being used in a certain manner. Sometimes it can look like, sketching, because you're trying to add a picture to the way you're writing it, but they're like, I think, very distinctly different from each other, I would say. Of course, there are techniques, and pretty much I would just say, suppose you have a calligraphy pen on you, you can use a kind of 45-degree angle to start to make the stroke, like maybe you have seen in the video also. So you can do that, and that will help you to
Absolutely. And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Qamarji, for joining us today and this very interesting. I'd like to thank you once again on behalf of Skoolz, and Srinivasji. I'd like to thank all the children and all the schools who've joined us. And we promise you we'll get Qamar ma'am again to discuss techniques in the next session when she joins us sometime in December. But before that, we have a whole plethora of guests joining in September and in October. Some really eminent people you can know about, from mountaineering and to climbing mountains to sports to self-defense to authors. We have a lot of guests. So we're very, very happy that all of you must join. We'll be sharing the link with all your school coordinators. Thank you so much for being with us. Once again, on behalf of the founder of Skoolz, Mr. Srinivas, I extend a very heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, for joining us and sharing an introductory session on calligraphy today. Thank you to all the children. Namaste. Please join us next Sunday at 10 a.m.
Thank you very much. I was very happy to be part of this, and very interesting questions from the children, which is really good. Thank you so much.
So all children will join us next Sunday, yes?
I'm sure they will.
Yes, children. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.